Hey, if you work at an event venue, you know that feeling, right? That constant sense of being swamped. But what if a huge chunk of that busyness isn't actually productive work? What if it's a hidden tax you're paying every single day? Let's dig into that. Just think about your day for a second. It's this nonstop stream of little tasks. It starts with, manually typing out a reply to a client. And then you're off, digging through a dozen folders on your computer, trying to find that one specific brochure you need to send. And then, just a few minutes later, you find yourself answering the exact same question you've already answered 5 times this week. Each of these things seems tiny, but believe me, they add up. All that stuff, that constant little drain on your day, it actually has a name: the operational tax. And no, this isn't a tax you pay to the government. It's a tax you pay to inefficiency, using your most valuable resource of all, your time. So what does this tax actually cost you? We're going to move from just feeling busy to really understanding exactly where your time and energy are just leaking away. You hear the term manual admin, and it sounds kind of boring, right? But in a venue, it's this whole collection of tiny, repetitive tasks. It's retyping client info from an email into a spreadsheet. It's constantly double-checking calendars for availability. It's chasing down another staff member just to confirm one simple detail. By themselves, they're no big deal, but altogether, they create this massive operational drag.
Okay, so let's see how this builds, because this operational drag has a real measurable cost every single day.
Just think about a typical client inquiry. It kicks off this cycle that's probably super familiar and super frustrating. A client asks a question. Your staff member has to stop what they're doing, check a system, a calendar, a spreadsheet, who knows? They reply. Then, of course, the client comes back with another question and the whole dance starts all over again. So what's the real cost of all this back and forth? Well, get this. If that simple cycle happens just 10 times a day, that adds up to 30 to 60 minutes of lost productive time. And that's per staff member, every single day. Think about that over a year. That's hundreds of hours that could have been spent on sales, on marketing, or just making the guest experience better. It is a staggering hidden cost. And this daily time leak, it leads to a much, much bigger problem. It creates what we call a growth ceiling. Because the manual systems that kind of worked when you were small, they completely break down the second you try to scale. And that's because of something called the coordination tax. See, when your information is all over the place, your team is forced to constantly coordinate everything by hand. Is this state really available? What was the final price we quoted them? Did anyone tell the kitchen about that dietary request? This constant manual coordination is incredibly expensive. This creates a huge, huge risk. When all that critical knowledge just lives inside one key person's head, what happens if they're sick or go on vacation? Or worse, what if they quit? The entire operation can just grind to a halt. And this slide illustrates the breaking point perfectly. Look, at low volume, when you only have a few events and clients have simple expectations, manual admin can work. It's fine. But the second demand increases and clients start expecting lightning-fast responses, the whole system just breaks. If your admin work is growing faster than your revenue, you're not succeeding. You're just experiencing operational overload. So the solution isn't to just work harder, it's to work smarter. And that requires a really fundamental shift in thinking for the hospitality industry, a move towards what we call a system-first philosophy. The future of running a modern venue is all about creating structured client journeys. It's about using automation for things like follow-ups and confirmations. It's about having one central place for all your information. Now, the goal here is not to replace your people. It's to empower them by taking away all the repetitive, cognitive work that just drains their energy and focus. And this really brings us to the most crucial point of all. The future of hospitality is about designing your operations so that this system handles all the repetition and the structure. This frees up your people to do what they do best. Focus on creating an absolutely unforgettable guest experience. So the question you should be asking isn't how can we work harder, but how can our system do the work for us?